last race, the final 30 minutes in a season full of frantic half-hour dashes to the checkered flag. These are the men and women of amateur racing, sports car drivers who race for fun and weekend glory. Unusual people because they do the usual thing for a living, but race wheel to wheel at incredible speeds as a hobby. Weekend warriors with occupations as different as the machines they drive.
What do I do for a living? I'm an export manager for a packaging machinery company.
I work for a tractor company. I'm a tech rep.
I'm in the restaurant business.
I'm an airline pilot.
Have my wife work, and I race cars.
I'm president of a large corporation.
I'm an attorney. Commercial artist.
The Illinois corn farmer. Computer systems analyst.
I'm a manufacturer's rep.
Nothing.
What's your occupation?
I don't have an occupation.
Oh, I put 300 horses on the glory road, and they pulled me to a flag marked black and white. Yeah, I run 300 courses called the glory road, and I take the straightaways loose, the corners tight. As you twist and turn, you learn the thrill speed can bring, and it doesn't matter who or what you are. Doctor, a lawyer, banker, a broker, teacher, a farmer, student, or actor, everyone in a line, trying to find glory on the glory road. Everybody's trying to find a little glory on the...
Glory Road is brought to you by your nearby Datsun dealer. Test drive a Datsun and see how Datsun saves.
Feeling free and rolling easy, you got places to be going, leaving troubles miles behind you. You can keep a smile inside you. Freedom's just another word for Datsun, 'cause Datsun saves. Set you free. Datsun saves. Datsun set you free.
The paddock at Road Atlanta, Georgia is jammed with America's best amateur racers. They've gathered together for the 10th running of the Sports Car Club of America's Champion Road Racing Classic. Champions from 7 regions in the United States. Each has been thoroughly tested throughout a 10-month racing season. Now, it's the last race down Glory Road. Dennis Ura walked away from this one, and the contest continues. At stake are national titles in 21 racing classes, from 50 horsepower Formula Vs to big bore A-production Corvettes. And although the machines are different, the victors share the same pride of accomplishment. They've beaten the best. While some are solely dependent on racing, most of the weekend racers are occupied in a variety of vocations, from surgeon to farmer to actor. Highly motivated and surprisingly skilled, all the drivers share a deep-seated love of the sport.
Well, it's the whole scene. It's everything. It really is. It's the noise, the smells, the thrill of going fast, going through a corner well. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, put them in the basket.
In a sport dominated by men, Bobby Cooper, a housewife from Anaheim, California, isn't quite the Billie Jean King of racing. However, she's beaten enough men to finish 4th in her region, thus qualifying for the national championships. Informal sessions with Lee Mother Mueller, a seasoned champion, is a continuing part of her driving education. Mueller has a genius for translating the intricacies of racing to the novice and finds Bobby a zealous student.
When she first started, we were all apprehensive. People that had never raced against her before said, yeah, that woman driver, you know, how can she be any good at all? But then when they get whistled off, they get a renewed respect for her and say, well, gee, maybe she really isn't that bad, or another dummy woman driver.
They might think that nobody's letting me know that. I don't really care. I'm doing this for me, not to please other people, and for the satisfaction I get out of it. Other women, oh, they think it's great that I can do it, I guess. But I think they feel that it's more of a bigger deal than I think it is. I don't think it's all that difficult.
It's highly important to always have the wheel on the inside of the track where you apex. And especially like in one where you have a camber change that helps.
She learns very quickly. I believe it's her ability and desire to want to be able to go fast and to pay attention, to experiment, try things, whether she agrees with you or not, is really working as an asset for her.
Everyone keeps telling me it's just another race, don't let it get out of proportion. But that's hard to do. I'm letting my emotions get involved. You know, it's supposed to be the best, the fastest cars, the best drivers. Ever since I started driving, this is what I wanted to do. Just to finish well, and, you know, not to win, but just to finish well in the top third, I think would make me very happy.
Bobby's G production Sprite is buried deep in the pack. She starts 14th in a field of 26 cars. A difficult challenge for any driver, but one she eagerly accepts.
She's a very competitive driver. What really impressed me about Bobby out there is she's very consistent. Her lap times never vary more than 0.3 of a second, regardless of in traffic or not. She's not the fastest driver in the world, but I feel it's mostly equipment that's really hurt her. And she's definitely an excellent driver, probably better than 90% of the guys out there.
Racing is a violent sport, even at the amateur level. But because of excellent safety measures, an incident such as this one usually leaves a driver more disconcerted than injured. Bobby Cooper's ride ends after 5 laps. A blown engine sidelines her car. She'd improved her position by 2 places, but that's of little consolation. Rick Klein from Gainesville, Florida, wins with ease, his 2nd straight championship in G production.
Really waiting because it's a long race. You know, it's unfortunate that, you know, things didn't work your way, but did you feel that it was, you know, the car was working better and you were getting more used to the track?
Oh, definitely. The car was running good. I was working good. My times were better.
Yeah, and I noticed you were running with some of the guys that, you know, they figured they were really going to whistle your doors off.
Bill O'Connor started racing 10 years ago in modified stock cars while establishing himself as a commercial artist in Chicago. He now enjoys the aesthetics and excitement of 160-mile-an-hour Formula B racing. It's a diversion from his work.
As you probably know, advertising is a pretty high-pressure business. It's demands day in and day out. And I find after a weekend of racing that I handle the problems during the week with ease. I can really feel emotion on the weekends, highs and lows. I get very distraught sometimes when the problems are, you just can't seem to solve them. But boy, within 2 or 3 days, you're ready to give it a shot again. You can hardly wait to get back. I get elated when I know I've done well. All the satisfaction, I guess, is my own ego. I like to be better than everyone else. You try to seek a level. You try to find better guys to race against. And that's what it's all about to me, is the competition.
O'Connor breaks the lap record 11 times in leading what becomes a 3-car race. On the next to last lap, with Ken Duclos, number 34, glued to his tailpipe, O'Connor gets trapped behind a slower car. Duclos sneaks by on the dirt. Halfway around the course, a balky clutch causes more problems, and O'Connor gives up 2nd place to his teammate Tom Klausner. At the flag, it's Duclos, Klausler, and O'Connor. A disappointing, if not heartbreaking, finish.
Oh, I'm not too disappointed, believe it or not. Very used to this. Been close many, many times, and I would have liked to have been national champion, but things will be as they will be. That's part of the game, the fellow losing control, you know, and I used to lose control, too. Give your wife a kiss. What happened to this? It's all right. Huh? It's all right.
For those who race the glory road, the highs and lows are inexorably intertwined.
It's going.
Nice drive, nice drive. Nice drive, Kenny.
For more than 60 years, we've been making champion spark plugs for Fords. We even made the spark plugs for the original Lincoln Continental. Now we're the #1 selling spark plug all over the world. And we make champion spark plugs for every Ford ever made. From Model Ts and As to race cars, trucks, and the Mustang, too. If you've got a Ford, remember, for your next tune-up, we've got your plug.
Have you had any trouble hitting too early in apex where you're then scuffing off some speed coming out?
No, but it brings up an interesting question. If you're scuffing it and scuffing it and scuffing it, are you under full power? Are you going to lose more?
Between Bob Sharp, auto dealer and 4-times national champion, and movie star Paul Newman, there exists a unique one-to-one relationship that has helped transform Newman from Sunday driver to racer. Sharp prepares Newman's car and races against him in the B sedan class. Teammates and competitors, they share the nuances of racing common to all drivers.
And then the other thing is the apex and the left-hander there. And I see all these guys diving for that. And aren't they losing straightaway speed on that?
He's very conducive to learning things very quickly pertaining to the car. He's very critical of himself. He, after 1 year of racing, is expecting himself to be competitive with those of us that have driven for 8 or 10 or 12 years. I found Paul most receptive, and all of us drivers kick around different things. How are the tires working? Why don't you try coming on a little slower and getting a better shoot out? And Paul is most receptive to that kind of thing.
But here, where you want to be going as slow, as little as you can, he comes climbing up on that thing, gets on the binders, gives it a pitch like that, and is back on the throttle.
When you, like at the top of the hill, when you throw it into that right, and then you catch it and go around the left, when you're having to steer that beauty. Mine is just, yeah. He spends a lot of time thinking about a course. He's one of the drivers, and I think this is a very, very good indication, who likes to drive a course and then think about it and then drive it again, watch other drivers, experiment with different things, and work out the best overall relationship.
Well, I did a movie about 6 or 7 years ago about racing, and I had always been vaguely interested in cars. And that was enough to turn the corner, but I never got a summer off. I mean, I never had enough time off where I could go into it really and devote, you know, a full summer to racing, and this is the first time I've had that chance.
46-1. He's getting consistent. Yeah, I'll say.
Newman has never competed at Road Atlanta. His racing has been confined to the tough Northeast region, where he finished second in a B sedan. He uses practice sessions to learn the course and sort out the car, as well as take measure of the other drivers. Newman has never competed against the top men in the rest of the country. It's the kind of pressure a newcomer must learn to handle. The accident is a costly lesson. Newman is unhurt, except perhaps for his pride.
You know, I crashed the car because I was just too eager, that's all. I mean, I knew, you know, that you've got to drive your own race or your own qualification. You can't drive somebody else's. So I got sucked into that and made a mistake, that's all. But I knew that before I got here. That wasn't something, I just forgot it.
Newman's car is damaged beyond repair. Sharp arranges to have a spare body brought to Atlanta from their home base in Connecticut. In 48 hours, the car is transported and rebuilt, just in time for the last qualifying session. But it means starting all over again.
Car Paul's never driven before. It's been put together carefully, but in a tremendous rush, and we don't have the time to take our time dialing everything in the way we normally would.
It's funny, it's the little things, to get the seat back far enough for that steering wheel. You find that your roll bar hits you right in the back of the helmet, so you'll be driving most of the time like this. There's that, and throttle springs are heavier, and it's going to be what we call fun and games. Or as an old Western buddy of mine who wrote a film that I did once, he'd come away from these marvelous cattle trips down in Mexico, and he'd just go out on a 2-week bat and just would march around saying that he was just a running in a plane.
I think Paul is in a lot of ways far more dedicated to the driving that he does than a lot of the drivers are. He very, very seriously wants to do a good job.
Newman qualifies the new 510 Datsun 15th in the middle of the pack. His best lap time is 6 seconds under that of teammate and pole sitter Bob Sharp. Jim Fitzgerald, another team member, qualifies second and is a serious threat to Sharp's attempt at a third consecutive B sedan title.
You can watch races and you can think about it, but time on the course in close competition with other drivers, knowing when to go ahead and go under the guy in a corner and when to back off, let the other fellow go through the corner and then take him coming out. We've watched Paul in a little over a year gain this experience very rapidly. But I think the more experience he gets on the track, the better he's going to do.
Like anything else in acting, too, you're constantly aware of your own inadequacies. I mean, everybody wants to be Fangio or Stewart or somebody, and if you aren't, you kick yourself around a lot. I don't know. I just try to get out there and do the best I can, that's all.
Newman's teammates are both out of it. Fitzgerald with a blown tire and Sharp with mechanical problems. Defensive team honors falls to Newman. Newman works his way into ninth in a credible, if not satisfying, first championship effort. The B sedan victory goes to David Frelzen in a Datsun 510, his first national title.
You're the only one to finish, pal.
Well, look, now, the guy in front of me was throwing so much gasoline. So for the first 4 or 5 laps, anytime you get right back, I mean, the car was just sliding. But I mean, not, half a pint or anything, but he must have really filled his gas tank.
Wow. A little gooey out there?
Just gooey, but to get going. Yeah, he wasn't even pulling that strong.
You may have had the same thing as we did. Huh? You may have the same thing as we did, only...
Well, except for your race, the only good thing was the bratwurst.
I think you did a good job, I really do. You drove a consistent race, finished the thing, better than I did.
Well,
Newman was not particularly happy with his performance. A man of his accomplishments is never really satisfied just running in a plane.
Basically, 1 or 2 horsepower each other.
Just about every kind of car imaginable can be found at the Champion Road Racing Classic, the largest single racing event in the world. For 3 days, America's best amateur racers assault the 2.5-mile course at Road Atlanta. Of all the races, perhaps the most hotly contested is C production. Heavily supported by auto manufacturers, this race traditionally brings together those drivers who most closely approach professionalism. Regional champions Dan Parkinson, Jim Fitzgerald, and Walt Moss possess the high level of skill typical of this division. Bob Tullius has never won a C production title, not because he lacks the talent, but because his chief antagonist is perhaps the most consummate driver in all of amateur racing.
I I started as soon as I was 21. I was chafing at the bit before I was 21, waiting to start.
That same enthusiasm has carried Bob Sharp to the summit of amateur racing. As both driver and head of a racing enterprise, he's become the standard by which all drivers and teams measure themselves.
It's not a lackadaisical, fun happening kind of thing. It's a very managed, business-oriented, professional outlook towards racing in the whole atmosphere, I believe.
The opening lap of the C Production Classic is a revival of previous years. Sharp in his Z car, leading by inches with plenty of heat from Moss, Parkinson, and Tullius. Moss takes the lead by the second lap, but Sharp is still confident.
I think I could put together a little bit quicker lap than he could, and at that point what I had planned was that I'd just follow him. And with a lap or two to go, I'd pick a spot and try to dive bomb him a bit. Then I had an opportunity to get him, so I got him and put enough distance on him so he couldn't slipstream me down the chute.
Tullius retires his TR6 after 17 laps. As the race unwinds, Gary Rodriguez in a jet-black Lotus Europa turned Sharp's dream of a repeat victory into a nightmare.
I really didn't expect to see Gary come on, but I guess Gary motored right on by Walt. And as I saw him come up, boy, I put everything I knew to it. And I sure was glad to see that checkered flag.
Sharp's margin of victory was 0.2 of a second, hardly a runaway, but enough to give Sharp his second C Production title and 5th national championship.
The last 15 years.
Dentist Bill Schmidt has never won a national title. Even though he drives an outdated Porsche exceptionally well, his interest in racing is deeper than the pure sensation of driving a car to its limit.
And it's somewhat of an emotional thing, and we put a lot of time and effort into developing it to try and make it competitive. And that, again, is a large part of the challenge, trying to take a car that's technically obsolete and perhaps not competitive and refine it and engineer it to the point where it is competitive. I'm not a team worker, you might say. I'm more or less interested in challenges that I can rise up to, whether they be with myself or against another driver. But it's just part of my makeup, I presume. Most drivers, I think, are very individualistic. They're sort of success-motivated. They're hard-driving individuals, and I think they have to be that to put forth the commitment that is really necessary to win. You lay it on the line yourself, and if you really mess up, you're the one to blame, and if you don't, great. But that's the way it is.
From start to finish, E-Production satisfies the hungriest of racing appetites. Schmidt scrubs and picks his way from 4th, wedging the Porsche between the MGBs of Brian Firstenau and Mother Mueller. John McFadden gets sideways on the pit straight, clearing the track immediately in front of the leaders. For Bill Schmidt, there are few moments as pleasurable as making a run to the front.
Oh, definitely, it's an ego trip. No question about it. When you do well, it's great. Well, I don't think about it consciously, but it's a visceral thing, sort of. When you go through a corner really right, it's a great feeling. You know it. You can feel it. The car tells you. It's a proprioceptive feedback. You feel the car moving and the motions, and it's part of you, and you feel it. It's great.
The lead changes frequently as Northeast co-champions Schmidt and Firstenau dice for inches. In the final laps, Mother Mueller joins the skirmish. The distance between the 3 front runners cannot be measured. It'll be a last lap run for the flag. Bill Schmidt loses first and second place, but not the thrill of having been there.
Don't worry about it. You did beautiful. I know.
I hit some oil or something because the car got all out of shape under the bridge, and I went right off the road and fought to get back on. I was trying to avoid the wall over there, and I managed to collect it and get back on the road.
Brian Firstenau won this one. Like Bill Schmidt and all the weekend champions, he gave it all he had on the road to glory.
Oh, dear. Thanks, Woody. Gentlemen, please. My pick, Chief.
Somebody.
Were you Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Well, yeah,
No.
Going into there, I had it pretty well made. And coming up the hill, I either hit oil or went too deep because I came into the boosting fence. That was it.
Doctor, a lawyer, banker, a broker, teacher, a farmer, student, or actor, everyone all in a line, trying to find glory on the glory road. Everybody's trying to find a little glory on the glory road. Everyone is trying to find a little glory on the glory road. Everybody's got to find a little glory on the glory road.
Glory Road has been brought to you by Champion Spark Plug Company, who reminds you an untuned car wastes gas.